everyone. It's our PittNUG 15-minute webinar. Today's presentation is done by Bill Jones from Verenia, and he is going to present the benefits of Verenia CPQ for NetSuite. So Bill, go ahead and start your presentation.
Great, thank you very much. Thank you all for joining me today. First, CPQ is not necessarily an acronym everybody's familiar with, so I'd like to just cover that and how it helps businesses. Configuration is used by companies typically offering products or services that are going to come with options, right? Salespeople and customers, they have a need to work through the selection of these options through questions in a quick manner, and importantly, also in an accurate manner. And for many companies, this process is manual and can take many minutes to hours, and is often the #1 source of order errors that make it to production or operations. Now, pricing is done by all companies, of course, and is dependent upon configuration, customer information, item information, or even on-demand discounting by the salesperson. And for manufacturers, wholesalers, and retailers, the pricing component is done in parallel to the configuration of a product. However, software companies and service companies don't make products, but they also do configuration in a way because they're figuring out a price that's dependent upon the answers to questions. So if you consider the spreadsheets or work breakdown structures that these firms use to determine a price or a range of hours, that's also configuration. And then the Q, quoting, automating the quoting process is desired by a lot of companies because many companies do it manually today, so it's very time-consuming, error-prone, and also there's inconsistencies between people like we naturally will have. So automating that quoting process ensures across the company consistency in both pricing and content, and can even help position the company as a leader in your market segment by making a world-class proposal. So to summarize that, CPQ software helps to automate the selection of a product or service, determine a price, deliver a quote to the customer in a fast, 100% accurate way, and all the while maintaining full discount, discipline, and document control. So, why really choose Verenia? First, as a company, our main goal is to make you easier to buy from. And we do that by completely removing order errors and quote errors and drastically increasing the efficiency of your sales process. So we were founded in 2012. We quickly made a name for ourselves with the power of our platform and our easy-to-use user interface and maintenance. And a short time later, we worked with NetSuite to develop a NetSuite native suite app that you'll see here today. And we are the only NetSuite native CPQ solution on the market today. So what that means is we're a bundle that you download. There's no integration to build, maintain, or break for that matter. So we reside inside your NetSuite instance, and this gives you unsurpassed speed and agility. We have access to everything inside of NetSuite. There's no joining, no synchronization that you have to do. And as you can expect from a native NetSuite solution, we're always up to date. Our new releases come to you as part of the biannual NetSuite release. And our architecture as well is highly flexible, so it allows for rapid addition of new business rules, new products, you name it, and largely by your own internal team. We're very easy to maintain. So I want to look a little more specifically at some of our solutions, and then we're going to dive into a demo. So our configurator is going to completely eliminate errors from your sales cycle. So it's really very easy to use. It can handle the most complex configurations or calculations, and it'll ensure all parts of the configuration are compatible and error-free. And in addition to that, it can handle the creation of new NetSuite item records, bills of materials, and shop floor routings at the appropriate time, so you don't have to build those ahead of time. A lot of companies have tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of potential SKUs. To build those out ahead of time really is costly. So if you can avoid that with our solution, it's very valuable. Our proposal generator allows you to make, it's really a document generator, it allows you to make simple one-page quotes or complex multi-page proposals that could have rich marketing, engineering, or any other content that you want to put in it. So using our proposal generator allows you to create your documents as a PDF with 3 clicks of your mouse, and then you can send it to your customer. So very, very fast. And again, you've got that consistency of messaging that's coming out of marketing or the company versus each sales rep having something of their own flavor. And then on the B2B channel side, for the last few years, we've been seeing a trend of more and more businesses looking to do B2B online commerce. A lot like, we're all buying more stuff as consumers ourselves online. And now the COVID pandemic has put that front and center for a lot of businesses. And Verenia is already positioned to help companies allow your B2B customers and partners to do their own self-serve configurations, quotes, and orders. And we do that through NetSuite Advanced Partner Center or through the Suite Commerce products. And again, all of that's error-free, of course. So, to be able to have that end user, whether they're internal or a B2B partner or an end customer, to be able to go in and do their own configurations error-free is very powerful. So with that, I want to just take you through a brief demonstration. I'm going to build out a door and a proposal just to show you how easy this is to use and point out some differences between Verenia's solution and some competitive solutions on the market. So it all starts in a NetSuite quote that I have up here. And we install a couple of buttons. We have some menus, but we install a couple of buttons for your team to use or your partners to use. And I'm going to step right into configure. And here we go into a demo library. Most companies don't have a demo library unless you have distinctly different products. But we have an extensive one. So I've got to actually select which demo I want to show. You, in your capacity, will probably just come right to this next page as we build it out for you. So we've got some flexibility as to how this looks. So if you ask me, hey, can we do this or that? Chances are we can. So don't think that this is a template that you're putting your, we're not a square hole that you're pounding a round peg into, right? We're building this around what you need. So if on the right-hand side here, we have an area for images and visualization, if that helps drive the sale. And you'll see in this particular demo, it really does help. We have an area for validations. So we can put in like a hard or a soft validation to give us pointers as we go through, or flat out tell us about errors that have been made that we need to correct. Below that, we have the summary. You'll see this build out and keep track of what we're putting onto this particular configuration, how it might impact the price and totals. Now, shifting to the left, we have an organizational set of tabs that can go on the left, it can go on the top, or if you don't need it, we don't have to use that. And then here in this main field is really where your team or your customer is answering the questions, right? What do you want in a door? This, and this. We're going to answer questions as we go. And you'll see numerous times throughout this demo that I'm not exposing all of the questions to you. I'm only going to expose questions to you if they're necessary as we move along, just like your salesperson would, right? So questions are, door type, door family. We can even save favorites as a question type. And we can answer these questions in a number of different ways. You see some are, radio buttons, images, drop-down menus. I'm going to go ahead and select this first image and we'll go through that particular door. Now, again, we're tied into NetSuite. So if you've got a B2B customer that has a discount, that can already be incorporated. If you're running promotions, you can automatically apply them so your salespeople don't forget. So there's a lot of power there that we have. So now that I've selected that first answer, I have another set of questions come up. I choose my door. I'll choose this model here. And as soon as I've selected that model, now I already get not only the image, but I get the base pricing and some detail as to what's going into that. So very powerful for that end user to really guide them through that sale. Continuing on, I'll make other selections as we go. Drop down menus. I'll go to a larger door here to show you an example. So now I've selected a larger door. I'm going to include the jam. That's going to impact the price over here. And you see how fast our solution is. It's sub-second. Every click, we recalculate everything and post it to you very quickly. So you have all of that intelligence. So now that I've completed really that that first set of questions, I'll move on to machining requirements. This is a great example of I'm only exposing a single question to you. And if I answer no, I move on to hardware. In this particular case, I'm going to select yes, I have some machining to do, but I do want to point out that we're not cluttering this or making you answer questions that don't apply to your particular situation. But as soon as I click cut out, I start selecting more hinges, handles, and door lock. And you see that we've got business rules behind this that are changing things. I've now changed my image to a two-dimensional guide. I've got the next question on hinges, and we normally have 3 options available, but you see 2 of them are grayed out. And we can give tool tips so that when you hold your cursor over it, the tool tip will come up and it indicates here that for a large door like this, you can't select 2 or 3 hinges, and that makes sense. That's the business logic, and any knowledgeable rep would know that, right? So here's some of that tribal knowledge getting baked in to the configurator. So I'm going to go ahead and select 4 hinges. We have additional information come up as to where we want those located, and that visual guide here is saying it or showing it. And if I were to make a change here to, I want that for some reason to start 15 inches down from the top of the door, we have calculations that will put that in automatically and figure that out. Okay, so I'm going to pause in my flow and tell you about something that we do that a lot of other configurators do not do, and that's we have multi-directional capability. So I've gone in and I've answered some questions, and our configurator, even though it seems like I'm following a flow, I can jump around and answer any question that's exposed at any time. And whether you save a quote and come back to it a day or a week later, or in the conversation with the customer, you want to go back and double check an answer for a previous question, we can go back and make that change. And I'm going to do that here. Going back to products and specifications, we're going to come back, and for whatever reason, we're going to change that door to a more normal door height. Oh, excuse me, more normal door height. And when I do that, I'm going to get a validation here, and this one's in red. So it's not going to allow me to save because now there's an error in place, or an incompatibility really. And it's saying go search for those items in red. And when I do that, I'll see that it's in machining requirements. I go to machining requirements, and it's that hinge again. Right now, that tooltip is telling me for the new door height, I can't select 4 hinges. So as a business rule, we don't put too many hinges on a door because it looks silly, for example. And now I would have to choose either a 2 or 3 hinge option. So that's an example of that multi-directional business rule. It doesn't matter which way we approach it, which question we answer first. If you go back and make a change and there's an incompatibility, we will raise the flag for you and we will indicate in red where that is. Now I'm going to change this to the door so we've got a good visualization for our proposal coming up. And I'm going to go back and change that door to the large door as we work through the rest of this configuration. So moving on to hardware, now I got to select the handle and the lock for that door. And I selected the wrong lock here. It might be hard to see through the zoom, but I selected a lock that's a different finish than the handle. And we have a validation coming up, just throwing up a sort of a yellow flag in this case. I could save it, but it's saying, your lock and your handle don't match. Most of the time we want to do that. Are you sure you want to do this? And so I am going to make that change to a matching lock, but I want to show you now the impact that this is having on the bill of materials, which has been developing in real time. Every click, every change we make, if it impacts the bill of materials, it will show up here. So we're calculating this bill of materials with every click in real time, along with the price and the summary and the image. And you can see that I've got a nickel doorknob and an antique bronze deadbolt and how they break out on here. But if I go back and now change my lock to a matching lock and look at that impact on the bill of materials, I'll see that not only did it change to a nickel finish for that lock, but we have business logic in saying when you choose this handle and this lock, that use the kit SKU to ship out or to be built onto the door. In addition, we have business logic that ties the hinge finish to the lock, to the door handle finish. So I never chose that, but selections we made did do that. So when you answer questions, sometimes it has multiple impacts for the bill of materials. In addition to bill of materials, we also build out the routing to tell that shop floor how long, what species of wood to select, how long to cut it, what angle, how do you fasten it. We give them all complete instructions for every station along the way. So in addition to that, we have an area where we can attach any sort of document, pictures, diagrams, CAD drawings, anything you wish. We can run calculations. We can show those calculations. I mentioned already, we can provide promotions, or we sync with your promotions in NetSuite. They're already available. And we've got complete freedom in a pricing area to be able to allow your internal reps to price things out with the controls that you need, so they can't go too far without authorization. Work with your NetSuite workflows for those authorizations. And we can even give your business partners a different look when it comes to pricing. They don't have to see exactly what your salespeople see. With that, though, I'm going to save this, and we'll turn our attention to the what the proposal generator can do. So let me save this back to NetSuite and save that quote within NetSuite. So here it's landed on the NetSuite line item. These are the custom features that I've selected for this particular door. So I'm going to go ahead and save that, and then we have to come back to these buttons. And the speed of NetSuite gives me a chance to take a sip of water. There we go. We'll go back into edit mode. So we've got our proposal button here. So now that the configuration is complete, multiple items you can make copies of, whatever you need to do, however many items you have. Now we want to go and make a proposal. So our proposal generator, it's really a document generator. It allows you to build any number of templates, and it's unlimited templates. There's no charge per template for these. And you create that template that's going to draw in the information about the items from the quote, or even customer information that will be pulled in dynamically. So I'm going to go ahead and choose one, and it's going to generate that proposal. It's very fast. So that's 2 clicks so far, and now I could make a PDF with just another click, or if you want to doc and send it to somebody for red lines or review, you could do that, or even print it. But you see, not only can we create a simple tabular quote like many companies do, we can use this as an opportunity to further, illustrate how we're a leader in our industry. We're using rich images. We're going to use rich text. Why should they buy from us? What sets us apart from our competitors? Our commitment to the customer. Something about our technology or where we source our products from. We can also tie back information, obviously, to the NetSuite quote itself. And then we dive into product information. If this isn't your style of layout, this is all HTML. So we've got that capacity to construct this layout how you want it to be. So here we see in the bold, these are actually the choices that I made, the answers to those questions that set this door apart and make it unique. And then this non-bold text really is just boilerplate information telling you that we're, selecting our, maple hardwood from the best forests in Ontario or, Vermont. Further down, we're now drawing in information from that customer record. So whatever terms you have with your customer, be it a B2B customer with discounts or a regular customer, so net 30, net 45, do they require a deposit? All of that can be brought in here from your customer record in NetSuite dynamically. So using that single template to generate all of these proposals as you go. So that's really it for this particular demo. A good example of how we can ask those questions, work through a configuration, get that price, and develop that proposal in very short order without errors. So with that, I want to thank everybody for joining me today. And if you have any questions, you can visit us at verenia.com or jot down my email. I think that will be sent out in a follow-up email later on as well. Thank you.
Thanks, Bill. I really appreciate you taking your time to do this for our group. I mean, we can open it up if there's anyone that has a question right now that they would like to ask Bill, or you can easily email me and we can follow up with Bill, however anyone wants to do it. So do we have any questions? Give a second. No. Okay.
Okay.
Well, again, thanks, Bill. Thank you, PittNUG members. And